Hello and welcome to a special Golf Digest Middle East preview of Zorah Golf Club, the first championship golf course of 18 holes to be open anywhere in the UAE for nearly 6 years, and we've been really excited about this project by Nicklaus Design, Ajman's first golf course for a long time. Managed by Troon Golf, it's a wonderful layout. I'm here on the 9th hole. You can see a par 5 with this incredible mangrove reserve over to the right hand side. It's over 1 million square meters of natural mangroves, great wildlife spot. The tide's coming in. These inlets have been designed by the club to incorporate a tidal flow system into the golf course and change the nature and the characteristics of how this course is going to play on an hourly basis. I'm going to meet Mike Knudsen, the project manager here at the club, for a chat. We're going to play some holes and we're going to hopefully give you a little flavour of what you can expect when you come and play the course in December. But for now, let's see if we can get one away safely off the first tee. Well, it is actually the 9th. It's a par 5. And this is the back tee, which I would never normally play from, but I'm going to make an exception just this once. And the camera's not going to pick this up, so I can probably tell you that it's going to go straight down the middle. Definitely not my best, but it's on the fairway. Let's go and check out Zorah Golf Club. Okay, so we've reached the tee shot on this par 5 9th hole, and I'm delighted to be joined by the project manager here at Zorah, Mike Knudsen. Mike, fantastic looking hole, and obviously the prominent feature here is the mangrove reserve that borders the entire length of not only this hole but quite a large chunk of the course as well. Talk to us about how this mangrove area was integrated into the golf course.
Well, before we even started the construction, we had a pre-construction meeting with the Nicklaus team, and they gave us very strict borders to stick to, and basically what we did is we took those and worked in towards off the mangroves. So for us, they were marked out as no-go zones. Nobody was allowed in there, so we stayed away. The inlet areas that we created were part of those no-go zones. So basically it was just a cut and fill process within the boundaries.
And was it easy to get the tidal flow to come in and out of the golf course like it does now?
It was easy to get the tidal flow, no problem, because it comes in naturally. Our problem was juggling the earthwork around the tidal flow, because when you've got 1.5 meters of water to contend with, it definitely slows everything down.
Well, you've done a great job. I mean, tell me, these island tees are a great feature. We've got here on the 9th, and then the hole that goes the other way. There's a shared group of island tees, isn't there?
Yeah.
Who came up with that idea? Who thought, hang on a minute, we can make a walkway here and it's going to look really good?
Well, that was Nicklaus Designs. I mean, it would have been very easy for us just to fill to the edge of the mangroves and make the tees right next to the mangroves in fill material, but when we wouldn't have had the tidal flow that's so unique to Zorah. The only way around that was to create these tees with the boardwalks between them, so the tide just basically flows around them, and we accomplished that. It gives a unique feel. It's a little intimidating maybe for some players, but that's okay. It definitely is what sets the golf course apart, because they're completely different than anything you've seen anywhere else.
Well, I'll tell you something that is intimidating is this shot I've got coming up here. It's a par 5, and this should be fairly routine. It's just a layup with an 8-iron, but I'm looking ahead and all I see is just a wall of fairly intimidating looking mangroves. So, Mike, I'm just going to head straight to the pin. Is that what is that your recommendation?
Yep.
Let's see if we can keep this one in play. Bit suspect, but hopefully that's on dry land. So we're about 50 yards short of the green here on the 418-yard par 4 5th hole at Zorah Golf Club. And Mike, we've come to one of the features of the course that's really going to set it apart from the rest of the clubs here in the UAE, and these tidal inlets that have been developed by Nicklaus Design, incorporated into the layout and making use of this wonderful feature here, the bank of mangroves that we see just behind us. Now, tell us how this is going to affect play, because it looks great, the water flowing in and out of here. It's a wonderful feature, but how is it actually going to affect the scores that people are carding?
Well, I think this is the personality of Zorah in a nutshell. There's really 3 periods of time during the day where the tide comes in and out. Right now the tide is out. You can play out of here, and and good luck to you. But when there's tides up, you can have anywhere from 1/2 meter to 1.5 meters of water in this exact same area. So really you have to kind of hope you're going to get a low tide if you're going to hit it off the fairway. But it's a good challenge. It keeps you on your toes. You're never going to get the same hole 3 days in a row probably. You'd have to play it exactly at the same time each day, and that's not going to happen. So it dramatically changes the way the hole plays.
Yeah, a lot of the famous links courses around the world, they say you never play the same course twice. Here you literally never play the same course twice, because at different times of the day this tide is going to be sweeping in and out of these inlets and dramatically altering both the look and playability of this golf course. If we were to be standing here in a couple of hours, we might be in knee-deep water. Here we're standing on the flats, and you can actually go and play your ball if you happen to roll down, as I have done. Just here I've got about 50 yards to this green, and rather foolishly I'm going to go and give it a go. Not my favourite shot in the world, completely bare lie, and this is just one of the characteristics of Zorah that's really going to stand it and distinguish it from these other golf clubs. And let's hope we can just make a semi-clean contact here. And I might need to towel myself down after that one as well. How many of the holes actually come up alongside this mangrove reserve?
There's, in one way or another, there's 6 holes affected by it, and each to a different degree. But where we are right now is without a doubt the most intense amount of boardwalk work that we have on the golf course.
Scenic and also a challenge, because you do not want to be losing it off to the right, do you?
No, and definitely it's a no shot from over there. We've got a fair bit of room on the left if the tide's out, but again, if the tide comes in, you've got water on the left as well. So that's again, it changes dramatically all the time. But yeah, it's a tough shot from back here, but this will be a finishing hole. So
let's talk about the green complexes. You know, they seem to be pretty well protected. Obviously, you can get your ball in play fairly straightforward, but in terms of actually firing into these greens, most of them are fairly well bunkered, and some of them are raised to a point where there's lots of quite fairly steep runoffs.
Yeah, there is. We've tried to keep the bunkering, or Nicklaus Designs has tried to keep the bunkering as fair as possible, but not to the point where there's gratuitous sand. We've got a lot of runoffs. You definitely have to hit the green. They're not overly big, so I think they're fair. I think there's no big issues getting up onto them. What you see on the greens is what you get. There's nothing hidden. So really, if you've got any ability at all to read a green, you should have no problem whatsoever.
Is that going to compensate, you think, for the fact that this is pretty wide open and rough really isn't a factor out here?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can hit almost from anywhere out here because the fairways and the roughs are so generous. And really, it makes getting to the green fun, but then when you get onto the green, it's a lot of fun as well. So none of the greens are flat. You have a lot of contour in them.
Right, well that's the challenge I've got coming up now, because it's the 9th green. It's looking pretty well bunkered to me. I need to go and hit a straight shot, don't I?
Oh, with faith you'll get there.
We're up here by the 10th green. It's a 393-yard par 4, and I wanted to show you what happens when you miss the putting surface here at Zorah. These greens are actually relatively generously sized, but they're very well guarded as well, not only by bunkers, but by these swales that run off from the side of the putting surface. So when you hit just one shot offline, you could take a bounce and you could find yourself in a position that I never like to be in, because this exposes the full weaknesses of my rather abject short game. But I'm just going to try and rock the shoulders, as a couple of pros have told me once or twice during my time on the magazine. And I've just flown that flag, and it's probably run off the other side of the green. So less said about that, the better. Well, this is it. This is Zorah Golf Club. It's a course we're extremely excited to come and play when it opens in December. Managed by Troon Golf, Nicklaus Design, incorporating these wonderful mangroves that you can see into the background, into the design, and something that's very unique and special for not only Ajman, its first golf course, but the region as well. So come down and play it in December. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be another great addition to the UAE golf scene, and we can't wait until the opening day.